Hi,
Cool.
everyone, and welcome. Today we have a very special guest. He's known worldwide, Terence Lewis. So, Terence is an internationally recognized heartthrob of millions, award winning choreographer. He's a celebrity TV judge, internationally acclaimed teacher, entrepreneur, motivational keynote speaker. And the list of his accomplishments is probably longer than this interview, but I will try to summarize. He's a four-time Guinness Book of World Record holder. Two of these records were for conducting the largest Bollywood dance class in the world in 2010 and 2011. So Terence holds an honorary doctorate in dance. He's a celebrity judge on multiple reality dance series like Dance India Dance, So You Think You Can Dance, Dance Champions, and other immensely popular shows. So through his work, Terence has regularly reached over, get this, 100 million viewers globally. All right, and he has won American Choreography Award for 2002 for his work in the Oscar-nominated super hit Bollywood movie Lagaan. He has choreographed immensely successful Bollywood movies, over 1,000 stage shows and musicals. So that's a little bit of a brief about Terence. Welcome, Terence. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you, Manoj, for such a uh, what can I say? Overwhelming introduction. It's a pleasure to talk to you. I've heard so much about you and about your podcast, and how you go about doing things. And you yourself are a luminary of your, of a notable stature. So it's really really interesting to kind of meet you and talk to you, one on one.
Thank you so much for your kind words. All right, great. So, I've watched your TEDx talks, and you have a very inspiring story. So let's start there. How did you get here? Let's start as far back as you want to go, and just share with us your life story. How did you get here?
So, well, I have said this story ad nauseum, so much so that it's coming out of my ears. But yeah, I will say this again. There have been lots of documentaries made on my life too. So I'm just going to keep it short and succinct because a lot of people know about my journey. But all I'm going to say is that I was born in Mumbai. I was born to a family of 8 children already, which was like we were 8 brothers and sisters. And my father was a mill worker, uneducated. So was my mother, and their only dream was all their 8 children would study and get a reasonable government job and be secure. That was all that they prayed and really really hoped for. And they said, my father was very clear, I will educate you till you're 15, and after your first secondary education you're on your own, whether you want to become a mechanic or you want to become a mechanical engineer. That's up to you. It's your game, not my life. I've given birth to you, I've taken care of you. Now after that, and that he said to all of us. So we were a very close knit family. We were 8 of us. We lived in a very very humble chawl. So it was not an easy life. It was tough, but we didn't know better, so we didn't complain. For us, it was like, this is our life. We have accepted this. And my mother had a very simple philosophy: you cannot complain. Everything is a grace. So you cannot whine, you cannot complain, you can't say why this way, or why couldn't it be better. No, that was something that was taught to us very early on, that you can't complain. Be grateful, always be grateful, and choose the reality you want, and go towards that. And the universe is don't believe that it's difficult, because it's not. It's all possible. You have to have faith in it. So somehow we were raised up in a very god-fearing Catholic way. And of course, I'm no longer religious anymore. I left that long ago. But about my journey, I studied medicine. I studied science for a long time. I went into biochemistry. I wanted to study medicine, but I didn't get through. I lost it by a few marks. That was good. I went into biochemistry. Then I left that in my last year, and I went to study hotel management, because I said, okay, let me get a job for myself, because this graduation will not get me anywhere. Then I studied psychology and sociology, because I really loved those subjects. I did my university alongside with my diploma in hotel management to finish both of them. I had a job offer at my lab, but by then I was also teaching house to house dance, and that was the only way I was being able to pay for my fees and my dates and everything around when I was in college. So between the age of 16 to 21 or 22, I was working and studying. and pretty much busy. I don't remember where my youth went away because I was only non-stop either studying or working. So I had no free time. I had no friends, and probably it was in a way good for me because I was focused on work for a long time. So I started much earlier. So by the time I finished my graduation, by the time I finished my campus interviews, I already had 2 job offers for my hotel industry. But I was also very successful in going house to house, and I was already earning a very good revenue, a good package, without even having a single classroom of mine or my studio space. And I decided to take dance as my career because I felt it was more challenging, it was dynamic, and I was somebody who liked to kind of have my own discipline. I don't need an outside force. I'm like pretty much like, okay, this is what I want to do, and I will do whatever it takes. So I had an independent mind, a creative ideas in my head, and I said I'm going to conquer. But of course, the moment I decided to kind of make it into a business from door to door, it flopped badly because I had no clue about how to do business in the real world. And it took me a while to understand how it works. And I went into fitness. From fitness, I came back into dance. I studied dance in America. I collected enough money through fitness because I realized there's more money in fitness than dance at that point of time. So I shifted gears. Instead of moving, sometimes you can't go straight up. You have to go sideways. The roads are like this to reach where you need to go. So I took up fitness. I became a fitness trainer, fitness instructor. I had a few very impressive clients, from Madhuri Dixit to Amisha Patel and all those people who were ruling the roost that time. And that took me forward. I, made a few, I bought my first car. It was a big thing for me coming from a chawl. All of that helped. And then, I decided to kind of come to America, studied dance for some time, came back, got a scholarship for contemporary dance. And then Dance India Dance happened. And then that changed my life. I became a public figure. Awesome. I hate doing this because this is every time so long drawn out. And I think most people know my story. So yeah, sorry for those of you who have already know about this and are hearing it for the nth number of time.
That's okay, but it's always inspirational to hear that. So my hope is that some other Terence sitting somewhere in a chawl or a small room somewhere will listen to this story and will have the courage to follow their dreams. So thank you so much for sharing that. Now, I grew up in India, and I had similar challenges, similar upbringing. So I cannot imagine that people took your decision of pursuing dance very lightly. Did you meet any resistance from your family or from people outside?
So I come from a very orthodox Mangalorean Christian family, and my family, my roots are people. My dad, and he was uneducated because of the poverty, but he had his brothers, his siblings who were younger, who were educated, and they had government jobs. So he was very skeptical about me taking up, and he realized, and I was one of the kids who was academically very bright. So my parents were like, from medicine you're going into dance, like, what is going on with you, son? Are you sure you're doing this? What happens if you have an accident or you are injured? So they were concerned, but my parents were like, always like, this boy is too dynamic and he is never going to listen to any one of us. He's been doing so many things at one time. I was good in sports, I was good in studies, I was good in in elocution, in public speaking, debates. My teachers loved me, and I was always somebody who was not who didn't need any push. I was like, I used to get up in the morning. I was like, okay, I have to do so many things. And I used to feel very overwhelmed, not overwhelmed, but I used to feel very excited that I knew that I had to do so many things together. And I loved organizing things. In my church, I used to organize, plays. I organized things. Even though I was very young, I was always like organizing stuff. So in a way, they kind of knew that, okay, this guy, whatever he says, he gets it done. But we don't see any future in dance. Like, what is this? And dance is meant for rich people, for their hobbies, just for time pass, just to keep them distracted and not do anything, foolish. But this is a career, and what will we tell everybody else? Because when you are very, very rich, your parents are okay, do whatever you want. It's a different culture. When you're middle class or you're poor, you're always worried about log kya kahenge. So all of that drama. But somehow, with me, I had a lot of resistance. My mother and father were very concerned because I was throwing away a job. See, even with the campus interviews, I used to go for GDs, group discussion, and just, nail it. I knew how to have a discussion. I had already done public speaking. I'd done elocution. I'd won so many debates. So in a way, I had an edge any which ways in, in interviews. And I got the jobs, but I didn't take it up. So my parents were like, not everybody gets a job on campus, and you studied so much, and now you're going to just give it away for dance. I said, yeah, mom, but I think I have a stronger chance. And I would say I was a bit cocky because I was already making money, going house to house, but I didn't know the real world, how it functions in business. It's a whole new business. So I fell flat on my face, and my parents were like, we told you so. And I was like, no, mom, I'm going to kind of figure this out. I know what it is to now, it was good. It was a humbling experience. It was like somebody took out the air from the balloon, boom. And I was so grounded, and it shook me to make me realize that I don't know many things. I may be good in my craft. It's not okay just to be good in your dance or in your I thought I'm a great teacher. I know my skill. I know I'm going to do a fab class. Not enough. You need to have a good marketing strategy. You need to know how to position yourself. And I didn't know any of this. And I had not gone to any school. I didn't learn from any teacher. You see, I had learned all organically by myself. It was all self-taught. Yeah. So I didn't see some other big choreographer saying, okay, this is how he has done it. Yeah. So it was, I have never learned under anybody. So it was very, everything was very self-taught. So you learn, you hurt more, because you make more mistakes. It's all trial and error, but it really you need to be very passionate and driven to not give up. And you have to tell yourself there are no options and there are no choices, because if you have an option, you will say, let me get out of this dance because it's too taxing, it's too tiring. And there was nobody to guide me or help me and say, hey, you should do it this way. Maybe I was also very proud. I didn't ask. I said, okay, if I don't get it, I'll figure it out. So I think it was a combination of everything, and it was just being consistent. And then, slowly, little by little, some people came and said, hey, why don't you do this? And hey, why don't you do that? And try this, and some people came along and took me forward. So it took a long while to get where I was, and no regrets. I didn't see myself like, I didn't have a big vision, like how they say, you need to have a big dream. No, I didn't have any big dream. I was just, I have this much money, and I need to make this much more. That's it. Okay, now I'm staying with my parents. I think I would like to have a rental place for myself. I never had this feeling, okay, I should have a house like this of my own. No chance. No, I didn't even think like this 10 years ago. I just bought it like 15 years ago. So, it was very small dreams. It was like, Mulla ki daud masjid tak. So it was very simple, like, simple dreams, achievable dreams, very, tangible at the same time, very, measurable dreams, which I felt I could do. Meri haisiyat, my capabilities, with my whatever intelligence, experience, whatever, people I know, this is what I can do. So it was a very long journey, but it didn't matter to me. I was happy. I was happy doing it, finding my own way. And my parents did resist, but they knew better that they cannot stop me from doing what I want, because if I don't get to do what I want, I will drive them mad. Yeah. I'm very like, I have to do what I need to do, and this is what I believe in. And if I'm happy, I'll keep you happy. But if I'm not happy, then it's not going to be nice for anyone if you having a long face, because I have too much energy on my own. So you don't want that energy coming to you. So you rather this is okay, let him go out and do what he needs to do. He'll figure it out.
That's great. I think what I'm noticing here, it seems like you're such a passionate person, and you always try to follow your dream. I think that is one quality that separates the champions from people who give in, because as you said, like, the journey is not easy. If you want to do something different with your life, it's not easy, right? Like, and there's going to be so many naysayers you're going to run into. They're going to say, what are you doing? And if you don't have that courage or the passion, as you said, like, if you have an option, you'll obviously take that. So tell me about
that. What is also important, Manuj, is to also fall in love with the process. The moment you say, I don't know, maybe I'm good at teaching dance, but I don't know how to market this. The moment you start with there and you say, let's learn. Let's learn, let's ask, let's approach people to help you. You realize the world opens up to you. You really have to be patient, and you really have to ask the right questions, and you really have to, be persistent. and it happens. And if you have a little bit of grace and if you enjoy what you're doing at that moment, then you suddenly, of a very different frequency. You're lighter, you're happier. Your mind, is such a beautiful mechanism that if you're positive and you're happy, it'll take you to those, questions, what you need to know, and you'll find those. But if you're angry, you're uptight, you're wound up, you will not be able to focus. You'll always be hassled, you'll always be hustling. So, learning to be, content, learning to be patient, learning to fall in love with the process, not with the fruits of labor, but just enjoying the class itself. Like saying, okay, I'm teaching this class and I'm going to have a blast. And I'm going to really have fun. And then realizing that the moment you've started the class and people are enjoying it, you're feeding that energy. And suddenly the class is a vortex of positivity. And you feel, woo, wow. And it's a brain rush. So I've always felt that. And I've felt, wow, we don't give value to this. Everything is all about, okay, how much money did this student pay me? But what about the fact that suddenly I'm feeling buzzed? And it's giving me such a rush. And what is the price for that?
Exactly.
And that also is there's a price for that. So it's an exchange. So students also come to me, their energy, they feed me with their learning and their needs. So I think you have to love the process.
And I think, as you said rightly, that's where you draw your positive energy, and this can be applied in any profession. Like, we are in creative profession, so it comes a little bit easier. But even if you're a chartered accountant, even if you're a CEO of a company, if you enjoy the process, I think you can find that passion and break through some really tough challenges, right?
Absolutely.
So tell me about your first big break. Like, you must remember maybe meeting the first big name music director or dance director, whatever. What was that experience like?
So there are many milestones. Like the first milestone was, I think, when I got a call. See, that time there were no cell phones. I'm talking about 1999. 1999, I was already teaching at Sunita Kapoor's, studio. I was teaching fitness for ladies. And the Sunita Kapoor is Anil Kapoor's wife. She had a studio in Ugis Road in Bombay and also in Santa Cruz. And I was teaching there, and she had invited me to start teaching because I had become very popular with all the ladies in Juhu and Bandra and Dheri. And she said, hey, listen, you need to come and take a class in my studio. And I was okay. I was teaching there, and one day, I had a call on the landline in the studio. And I remember the receptionist's name. Her name was Agnes. Agnes was at the reception, and Agnes said, Terence, there is a call for you, from Madhuri. So, I was like there in Sunita Kapoor's studio, actors to keep, because she had a coterie of friends, but I never interacted too much. I was always away from the filmy world. I picked up the line, I spoke to a Madhuri, and I thought, might be any other Madhuri. And she said that, oh, I'm Madhuri Dixit speaking. And, I've heard, I'd like you to come over and, start with me some classes. I've heard you're very good in fitness, and can you help me lose weight? And, in my head, I'm like, Madhuri Dixit can't be calling me. Like, not possible. Like, I had such poor, I had confidence issues about these things. I was very confident about my dance, my fitness, but I had no confidence ki, people of the upper class, or, sometimes you think like that. I have not been born rich, right? So you have this little bit of, small, what do you call it, middle class thing. Why would they speak to me? They would probably speak to their manager. But she was a middle class girl. She just called me up and she said, and she was a big star. 1999, she was number one.
Exactly.
We're talking about a number one actress that time, and I didn't take it seriously. I thought somebody's playing a prank. I thought it was a prank. I kept the phone. I forgot about it. 2 days later, Sunita Kapoor calls me up and says, Terence, why aren't you not just called Madhuri back? So I was like, is this serious? She says, yeah, what's wrong with you? Like, why didn't you not call her back? I didn't tell her why I didn't call her back. That, I was having this, trust issues. I just then immediately I said, yeah, ma'am, I'm sorry. I'll definitely call her back. I called her. She invited me home. We had a cup of tea and she said, listen, I want to lose weight. I know you're fantastic. You have helped Amisha lose weight. You have helped, other actresses, Malaika, because that by then, Malaika and all the models, Malaika was a model that time. So all those ladies used to come to my Bandra class. So, she said, I've heard about you. You're really good. And I really want you to help me lose weight and teach me some Western dance because I'm going to be doing a song called Ke Sara Sara, which is from the movie Pukar. And she says, I'm looking fat in the movie and, I need to really work out. I said, okay, sure. So I helped her lose weight. And that's how my first client happened. That was one of my first stories. Even my first movie, Lagaan, which happened in 2000, was thanks to Reena Datta, who was the producer and also the current wife of Amir Khan. She was the first wife. And she came for my class. She said, okay, listen, I need to lose weight, man. Please help me with my post-pregnancy issue. So I helped her lose weight. Ira was just born that time, Ira. So I helped her lose weight. And then one day she came and said, listen, I'm in a fix. I need a Western choreographer who knows waltz. And she's looking at me and saying, I said, oh, I'll help you with it. I said, no, I don't want anybody else. I want you. I said, Reens, I don't know waltz, What, you're a Christian, you should know. I said, what do you mean you're a Christian, you should know? I was like, no, I don't know waltz, Come on, you just figure it out, Because then all the filmy choreographers will get messed up. And Ashutosh and Amir are very particular that it has to be authentic waltz. So I was shitting bricks. And then she said, just come home and speak to Amir. He'll sort you out. So this is my first meeting with Amir. And, I still had, I was very I'm a very middle class. I feel like maybe I'm sorry to use the word. I never thought कि मेरी वो औकात है. I was like, मैं अपने talent पे मैं खुश हूँ, लेकिन I don't have that thing. I don't know how they will treat me. It's all that mind, Bollywood star.
Yeah, just to interject here. So we are talking about number one Bollywood stars. Okay, so these people, the names that Terence said, Madhuri Dixit and Amir Khan, these guys are like world. Like, how do I compare it? Like, they are your equivalent of the Hollywood superstars.
Hollywood stars.
Tom Cruise, and Julia Roberts, those type of people.
Yeah. So it's like, Brad Pitt calling you, home and saying, hey, buddy, come home. You need to do one section of choreography. And I'm like, okay. It was overwhelming. So I heard Amir and then he said, listen, you got a buddy. It's not just waltz. You have to do the Viennese waltz because the film is set in 18th century. And we think only Viennese waltz fits that. And I think that's the genre in which it's been written. And, no words came out of my mouth. I just said, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I went and I said, Reena, listen, I can't do this. He says, no, you have to do this. You have to save me. You will learn it. I know you can do it. And I'm like, okay, listen, give me 2 days. Let me figure this out. So then I figured it out that there's one lady in town. And guess who it happens to be? That time, nobody knew these boys. Okay, it's Salome Roy Kapoor. Now, who's Salome Roy Kapoor? You'll wonder. Salome Roy Kapoor is the mother of Aditya Roy Kapoor and Siddharth Roy Kapoor. Siddharth Roy Kapoor, who is like the famous, producer, who ex-producer of, Disney and all those places in India. And Aditya Roy Kapoor is now an established actor. So, then 20 years ago, they were young boys and, she was teaching Viennese waltz. So I learned the Viennese waltz. And that's how I taught it to Amir and, the British actress. And so that's how it happened. And then same thing with Dance India Dance. It happened many years later. So, I have too many of these Bollywood stories, how it happened. But it was strange.
Yeah, amazing. I want to point out this fact here. A lot of people think that they have to have everything in place before they go out and teach other people and sell things and do whatever. But one thing I notice here is you can do things on the fly. You don't have to have everything in place to be able to go out there and market it, sell it, teach it, whatever. You can do it in just in time, right? Like just you mentioned there, right?
In fact, it's funny how you say this because right now, see, I've been teaching dance for one-on-one where people come to my studio. I don't even have branches and franchise because I don't believe in that model. I believe that I need to have a good team of teachers and I can't mass produce teachers to have branches and franchises. It's not a business for me. It's passion. And I do it with a lot of sincerity and honesty. So I never believed in branches and franchises. But 22 years later, we have a lockdown. What do? We can't go back to business again, even when the lockdown finishes. And, everybody has been telling me, sir, please do your tutorials online. Even before the lockdown, I had a lot of offers. Please teach online. Please teach online. You're the only one who's still teaching. I was like, yeah, but, it's such a boring interface. I need a live audience. Now what do you do?
Yeah.
So finally, I'm on my knees and, so I was like, okay, this is the moment. So coming back to what your point, I don't know how to do this online. I'm not a technical guy, but we said, you know what, we'll just go for it. So what's the simplest way? Facebook, Instagram. We'll just go live. And we were celebrating 22 years on 1st May, just went by 10 days ago, 12 days ago. And I just told my team, I said, listen, we're going to do something big. We're just going to start big, okay? Whatever we've built for 20 years or 22 years now is irrelevant. The way forward will be online. We'll have to kind of break this structure and go online. And we're going to do this with a 24-hour non-stop live. Wow. So my team, Marok, who's my associate, person who works with me creatively, she's like, are you nuts? I said, no, I'm not. We're going to do this 24 hours non-stop live. And then she thought for a moment and said, you know what? It seems like a great idea. Let's do this. And then she just rallied the whole team together and we announced it. And we said, we're doing this live. We've got only 3 days to prepare for this. We're going to keep it free. We're going to allow anybody and everybody who's on my Instagram and Facebook page to come on live and learn class back to back non-stop. It's going to be a mela. And we didn't know how it's going to work out, right? We just said, let's try it. And we tried it. And it was a massive success. My instructors were like, first they were resisting, sir, this is not done. We are not used to this. We don't know how to speak like you do. You are good into talking. We are not good. Blah, blah, blah. I said, listen, you will learn I was not born like this. It all works, and as you go. It's great to be prepared, and I'll prepare you as much as possible. But you're never going to learn unless you learn how to just open your wings and fly. So if you fall, you can pick yourself again, and we are there. So don't worry, okay? Go for it. And they did. And literally my instructors, by the end of the class, they were weeping, and they were like, this was so overwhelming. We had people loving us, liking us, from a laptop, and it was possible. And there were teething issues, and somebody like, I don't have enough 3G, I don't have a pack, and we'll figure this out. I don't have a phone. How do we get a phone to you? How do we get the best lighting? There were so many issues, and we said, you know what, if you're going to listen to what we can't do, we're never going to start. Let's do this. We did it. It was a huge success. Next thing, people are saying, we want this every day. A lot of them said, listen, it was lovely to watch, but we couldn't continue because it was a little difficult. Can you make it simpler? We said, okay, we are going to do online every day, free, at 12 o'clock Indian Standard Time and 7:30 in the evening. Okay, on Facebook and Instagram, we're going to teach one step, just one step. It could be the shimmy, how to do the shimmy, or how to do the head shake, or it could be a hip hop step. How do you do probably the woe? Okay. So how do you do the woe? It's like, you keep your hand here and you do the woe. Now, the woe is very popular among TikTokers and, young people. So somebody wants to learn how to do the woe. Okay. And how do you do that? We teach it to you. It's just 20 minutes online. Come, go, learn. So you're not overwhelmed by learning a choreography. It's just one step. And when people make that one step, and suddenly we had a lot of people saying, we love this. Now we're confident. Can you please give us something more substantial and meaty? And we said, okay. So we'll do the dance camp. And that's how dance camp was born. And we are starting this dance camp now online. It's only 500 rupees. It's just to cover some minimal costs and to be able to pay the instructors. I'm really not looking at large profit any which ways, because it's never been my motive to kind of do things. So it's $7 US dollars, or, €6 or maybe £5 for 5 days online, morning, evening. You have 2 slots open. So 10 classes for you for $5 or $7, dollars. That's it. And you can pick up a style, and it's on Instagram and Facebook. It's going to be a private group. So as soon as you register online on www.terencelewis.com, you will get the dance online option. You just go to dance camp, pick up your, which styles you want. The timings are there, and bingo, you get an invite, and that's how you go.
You can pick the dance style that you want to learn.
That's right. So there's hip hop, there's contemporary, there's Afro jazz, because Afro jazz I love that style. Afro jazz, there's filmy fit. Now, filmy fit is not a dance. Filmy fit is only for those people who want to lose weight through dance. But you can't lose weight in a dance class. There has to be a certain formula as to how to lose weight in a dance class, and that's what filmy fit is. It's a scientific, like what I used 20 years ago. I had done my course in fitness. So there's a Carbonense formula. Carbonense formula is 220 minus, your age and 60% of your heart rate. And then you got to make sure you're in the cardio zone. And you got to make sure your student doesn't stop even while you're teaching the dance steps. So it has to be simple and easy for anybody. So we have that filmy fit going on, and then we also have two levels. For hip hop, we have level for beginners and for intermediate, and for contemporary we have beginners and intermediate. And for Afro jazz and Bollywood dance, which is semi-classical dance and folk dance, it's basically just beginners. So anybody who's at grassroots level can join in. And we are supplying them with tutorials every day. So as soon as the live gets over, you have a tutorial of the class, so you can at your leisure learn anything that you have missed. And we also send you a warm-up and a tutorial guide of just the basics of dance, of that style. So suppose there's a basic in that style, like an Afro, you have the wine. So if you know the wine already, you can do the choreography easily. So we're sending all of that as soon as you register. So all this just for 500 rupees, Indian rupees. So it's really something to encourage people to learn to dance, and dance for them is going to be a therapy. Those who are working, those who are studying online, they need a release.
Yeah, I think this is a great initiative because, as you said, like under lockdown, we have to take care of our physical health. We have to also take care of our mental health, because dance, music, all this contributes towards creates a positive energy. So I love this initiative, and to mention that you can actually pick the dance style. That's an even more personalized experience. And I have a lot of people in North America who are huge fans of Bollywood dance. I mean, they watch Bollywood movies just for the dance, because they like the colorful dresses.
Vibrancy.
Exactly. So this is an amazing initiative. Can you repeat how do people register? Can you repeat?
Absolutely. It will be my pleasure. So all you got to do is log on to www.Terence Lewis, my name, TERENCE, single RENCE, LEWIS.com. And immediately you will see a red color dot appear on the tabs. It says Dance Online. Click on the Dance Online and it comes on the Dance Camp page. You get an introduction what Dance Camp is all about, what the styles are, what the timings are. Go to book now. You can pay. You can select what style you want, and it will give you a tabular column that these are the styles you selected. If you choose one or more styles, you get a massive discount. So you get a discount for choosing more styles. And then all you got to do is say press pay, and then it's a method of paying with a credit card, online transfer, bank transfer, Google Pay, Amazon Pay, Paytm, which is from India. I don't know whether Paytm works abroad, but Paytm, and there's other channels. So you can find 4 or 5 methods of paying. It's very simple, and as soon as it gets credited, you get an email from us saying that, hey, give us your Facebook, your ID and your Instagram ID, so we can add you into the private classrooms. And then, in the private classroom, we'll share with you the tutorials already, the warm-up also, so you can already, be prepared for the class when you come for the class.
And sounds like a very fun community. Are you also doing something in terms of helping them build a community, sort of, get in touch with each other? Because I feel that, I have gained much by joining communities, learning from other people who are learning with me, sort of exchanging ideas, being accountability partners with other people. So what are your views about that?
Absolutely. It's the whole idea, even with our current dance camp that we had on ground, not online. That's what we did. We had WhatsApp groups, and we constantly interacted with them. We invited them, for a reunion sessions. We did all of this. So we're going to continue having that on the Facebook page. So that closed group will remain a closed group, and people can share their videos. People can also promote their own, businesses if they have something to share. It's up to them. People can leave if they want to. There's no pressure. But, it's just good to have a community which can reach out to people. And, we have somebody who moderates that group and moderates the sessions. So, there's somebody always answering you. So there's a whole back-end team also for you. So, yeah, these are the things that kind of really encourage people to kind of, make your, online community, because social distancing is going to be the norm for a while, till good sense prevails and people realize that it has to be herd immunity. We don't know when that's going to happen. But, the political powers that may be will probably decide whenever they need to decide, and probably figure out that social distancing doesn't work, especially in our country, because I feel it's social distancing is a elitist first world privilege. In countries like India, where 60% are having shared toilets, and we live in very cloistered spaces, social distancing doesn't work. The only way it's going to work is herd immunity. And the hard truth is that certain people who will have to kind of, it'll be fatal for certain people, will have to go. There's no way of getting out of it. So coming back to the point that, with social distancing, it'll be so important to have social connectivity, because that's going to be a way to kind of feel still some kind of, semblance of, human, interface. So the human interface will be social connectivity because of social distancing.
Yeah. And I think this is a good initiative for other reasons as well. Like, as you said, the whole economy is going to change. So this will actually give the courage to a future Terence Lewis who has been suppressed by
Yes, why
parents
not?
or society to become,
Totally.
follow their dream. And it could be a breeding ground for the competitions or, all these competitions that are happening. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, great initiative. I want to talk to you about the world records. Was that something related? Like, did you have something similar initiative which sort of led you to win those world records?
See, I was doing a lot of dance shows, and I was doing a lot of shadis. And I used to make people dance in the shadis any which ways, as a performer. So I used to perform as an artist, and then, make people dance. And, I was also, in school, I was so used to making, people sing, make people dance. I was such a, what can I say? It was in me to kind of, always be on stage. I
Instigator.
was comfortable. I was
Instigator?
very comfortable.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Instigator?
Yeah, instigator. And also I love the stage. When I was a kid, dance was the only way that gave me a lot of attention. Let me tell you that I didn't dance because I loved dance. I'll be honest. It was like attention mil raha hai yaar, log taliyan baja rahe hain. So it was any moment to grab the stage. I was a stage grabber. Like singing, elocution, I didn't do it for the love of it. Okay, this allows me to be on stage. I get the spotlight. So I was attention seeking. I have to admit that to you. Okay. Then when I grew older, okay, say around 15, 16, 17, it was more like, okay, he's a dancer. So I was like, okay, I can show off. Like, it was more like, I'm the school guy who can dance, I can sing, I can elocution, I'm good in sports. So it became more of, like that edge. Okay, as a guy, he's good in dancing also. It kind of really sets you apart. It kind of gives you a little edge. Then by the time I was 18, 19, it became a source of financial dependence. By the time it was 25, dance became a source of my identity. People recognized me through dance. So, dance kept changing its meaning. By the time I reached 30 and I met my first good teachers in contemporary dance, they introduced to me what dance really can do to you spiritually. And they took me in another journey. So that journey was very different, where they said, okay, you're not going to dance to show off. You're not going to dance to kind of, get attention. You're going to go a little bit more deeper into it. And they, brought me into their world and introduced me to this amazing form of dance called contemporary. And they taught me how to still perform for the audience, but also perform for yourself. How to go deep into the performance mode. How to make it very, really, really internal and not just external. Otherwise, always putting the cheesy smile and, you're like always grabbing people's eyes and saying, okay, look at me, look at me, look at me. Very desperate, in many art forms. It's some way sometimes very cheap. But contemporary is all about being really internalizing the energy, really, really going into the song, into the mood, feeling it. And it's another kind of performance art, and it's very natural and it's organic. So it took me to another journey. So dance has meant many things for me, at every stage of my life. So it started with attention seeking to, it becoming more of showing off, to more of it becoming financially, a means to an end. And then, an identity of mine. People recognize me as a dancer, as a choreographer, as a judge. But more in the later years, it became a little bit more of a spiritual journey. So yeah, I've been evolving, with dance all this while.
Great, awesome. So let's dive a little bit deeper. Are you okay with time?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
So let's dive a little bit deeper, because in my journey I had similar experiences. Unless and until I actually dove in inside and sort of really reached out, what do I really want out of this work that I'm doing? It was always superficial. It was always sort of, it had a ulterior
It all
motive.
starts that way. It all starts from the exterior, then you have to go interior. That's the way it goes.
So
it very rarely goes from inside out.
Yeah. So what did you find? Can you share whatever, it's hard to put it in words, I know, but can you describe that experience of going within, such that somebody else listening to this or hearing or viewing this they may be able to apply some of these principles in their life as well?
See, the first thing we learn in contemporary dance is that you can't have a mirror in front of you.
Okay.
And as a dancer, I was so used to like checking my hair, checking
Yeah.
my physique, my body, constantly, validating myself
Okay.
and looking if somebody else is looking at me too. So my teachers were like, listen, the first thing you need to do is this mirror has to go. Your eyes inwards, the inward gaze will have to be the first thing. Second, stop looking for people for validation. And see, for me, that was a big challenge. I was somebody who was attention seeking. I was somebody who loved to please people. I was a people pleaser. I was born in a family of 8. I was the youngest. I wanted my brothers and sisters to like me. I wanted my family to like me. So it was a big psychological, emotional, aspect of life, which contemporary dance taught me. They said, inward gaze, my child, inward gaze. Let that gaze not go into people, but go into reflective, where you feel the song, where you listen to the music of it, and let it connect to some memory of yours. It's called sense memory of what it takes you. What is this emotion? Okay, bring that emotion, play it back again in your head, and get into that space. And from there, of course, you need to know you're dancing. And from there, let that current flow. Now that becomes the current. The memory, the sense memory becomes the current. Okay, you no longer are visualizing the world watching you. Now you are starting a dialogue with your memory, and you are starting a dialogue with the music, and it's giving you a current and it's flowing, and then you respond to that. You don't know what you're going to be doing. Of course, once it's choreographed, then of course it's choreographed. But when you're setting the choreography, you are just going with the initial instinct. It's that instinct. Okay, it's a gut feeling. It makes you move, it makes you do things, and you have an assistant who looks at you and says, okay sir, you did this, please don't forget this, look lovely, or he's capturing you and he's telling you, okay sir, there was a nice moment there. So it's all starts like that, and then you crystallize that, you refine that, and then you have the art of practicing and going into that same moment and repeating it with the same intensity and that honesty without losing it in repetition.
Cool.
So it's a craft,
Very beautiful,
which you have to practice, because the instinct, the first time when you do it, the energy will be another frequency, because it's the first time. By the time you do it second and the third time, you start to feel boredom. So how do you maintain the honesty? That's a craft in itself. So I will not go into such technical details, because that's meant for people who are dancers, who already are trained in the body. The kinesthetics are all sorted. The somatic sensibilities are already there. Then when you reach that level, then we train you. It's a craft. It's been given to me by teachers. I've learned a lot by just seeing my teachers work, and I've understood it. So once you get into that space, dance doesn't become a means to showcase yourself. It becomes the means where you allow your frequency and your energy to rise in a certain way, and it also becomes a way to release yourself. All the restrictions, all the taboos, all the things that you cannot do, sometimes it's through dance and through music and through the character, you allow yourself to be that. So it allows you to be something that you can't be otherwise.
Lovely. That thanks for sharing. I just want to highlight the point that because I come from a very different background. So my background is technology, and I feel that whatever you shared here, all those principles apply in every field. Because
Yeah.
when I went very deep into my art, which was a writing code, writing programs.
Oh, okay.
So it was more like, I don't care whether it works or not. I just want to explore,
Yeah.
and when you get into that mode, the product that came out of that was so much more superior than when you were doing it for money or whatever. And the satisfaction you got was so much greater. So I think what you have outlined is beautiful, and it can be generalized. It can be applied across any field, across any career. So thanks a lot for sharing that. Now, I think we are coming to the end, but we started off the interview with your story that everybody knows. But can you share with us a few things that probably nobody knows?
Hmm. Well, let's put it this way. We all have many sides to us, right? We have a side that we would like to show the world so that we can get appreciation, validation for the character that we have built, okay? For the personality that we enjoy, for the respect, the love, the attention we get. But we also know that we have flaws. We also know that we are not perfect. We also know that we sometimes lose it. We also know that there's a vulnerable side to us. I think in my 40s, the best thing that has happened to me is to explore my vulnerability, to be able to say my truth, not feel ashamed. I think I've become strong enough not to feel scared to say who I am, what I am, and without being arrogant, but just saying my truth the way it is. Being able to also be smart enough to know what is needs to be said and what shouldn't be said, because some amount of your who you are, what you are discovering inside, is a very internal personal journey, and that is not privy to everybody, because not everybody has the ability or the maturity or the sensitivity to understand you, and the same goes for everybody. So you need to be really sensible about what you're putting out there, based on the kind of evolutionary processes that are there for people around you. So I would just say that I have become. I used to be a little bit more brash. I used to be a little bit more, outspoken, and sometimes not realize the impact it's creating. So now I feel I've much more sobered down. I say what I need to say without being, wishy-washy, but I say it with a certain gentleness. I say it with a certain pragmatism. I say it without having to defend or offend anybody.
Awesome. That's great. I mean, whatever you have said resonates with me so much because it seems like, uh, you know, uh, life unfolds in a very similar way for most people. If we look at the patterns, it sort of fits well with what I have discovered as well in my life. As you grow, as you learn, as you gain experience. So thanks a lot for sharing that. Thank you so much for joining us today. It has been an amazing conversation. I would love to have you on again in another episode. But once again, before we leave, can you share with us your initiative, the dance camp, how people can sign up, and how can they connect with you, how can they reach out to you and learn from you?
Sure.
Yeah.
It will be a pleasure. So, for all those who are listening, who are really looking to start learning dance, this will be a great opportunity for you to learn from our institute. We have got a fabulous lineup of instructors, and they've all been handpicked and trained by me. And we are, opening this online. So, it's a 5-day program which you need to sign up for in advance. It's starting from Monday 18th and goes up to Saturday the 23rd, which is a finale with me, and it's going to be live online. And here's the good news: the price is only 700 Indian rupees, which comes to literally 500 rupees, which comes to around $7, or 6 euros. And you can pick up any one style. And if you're excited and if you have all the energy, you can pick up more styles if you have more time. And it's all mentioned on our website, www.terencelewis.com. And you will just click on dance courses online, and then you get the dance online dance camp. Dance camp online is what you need to look out for on my website. There's a payment gateway. Just click on the classes and go to the payment gateway. It's there are many modes of payment. You can choose what you want. You just have to give us your Facebook and Instagram ID so we can include you in the groups, which are private and closed groups. So only those students who are registered get access to our classes. It also gives you a tutorial every day, so that in case you missed a class for any reason, either morning or evening, you still have the tutorial at your disposal where you can learn whatever the instructor has taught every day. It's a progression class, which means every day we progress from one to the next, to the next, to the next, till we finish a choreography along with it. It's like a dance class, so you can actually do the dance class with the instructor either morning or evening, whichever suits you. And we have the finale on 23rd. And yeah, all this for 500 Indian rupees. It's $7. And yes, it's you can access the timetable. All of it is online. So yeah, please join in. There's also a class called Filmy Fit for those who want to become fit through dance. And there are levels, beginner and intermediate. You can choose that. We have hip hop, contemporary, Bollywood, and Afro jazz. I think that covers it all.
Great. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot for such an amazing
Pleasure.
conversation and inspiring us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. God bless. Take care. See ya.